Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys a whole lot for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel and for all of the support that I've gotten from you guys. I really appreciate you a whole lot. So if you are new to my channel, if this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you will hit on the subscribe button and the bell also on the side. Hit on the bell to get an update whenever I upload a new video. That's just like basically the essence of that bell. Okay, let's just get started. Today I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a yoke circle dress with cold shoulder sleeve, or a cold shoulder yoke circle dress. That's just like basically what we're going to do. It's really simple and easy. This is a look that even as a beginner you could actually pull this off, so I'm going to make it as simple as possible. So let's just continue while I fold out my fabric. So this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of. This is actually 6 yards of fabric, so I'm going to be making use of about 3 yards. It might not be up to 3 yards, maybe 2.5 to 3 yards. So I'm just going to fold out the fabric and then we'll cut it out. And this is the parts that this lace I'm going to use for the yoke. So the lace is not really up to maybe like about 1/2 yard of lace. That's what I actually have here. It's from my leftover lace. So before I continue, I just want to say that if you are interested in registering for my online classes, you could hit and you could chat me up on WhatsApp. So you see the number that is scrolling through the screen. You could contact me on those numbers and then I'll tell you the details. I'll send you the course outline. And for this new month, I'm introducing a new class for this month, which is the ready to wear. For those people that actually want to go into ready to wear, you could decide to enroll for that class, and then I'll show you in this class. I'm going to be showing you how to create how to do different kind of ready to wear, and then the different kinds of finishing that you would actually need for a ready to wear collection. So I'm going to be doing that in this class, and then the sizing, how to size them all up. So these are just like basically the things that I'm going to be teaching you, because ready to wear is a kind of it is a really booming business in this fashion industry now. So, and it is something that you could actually do from the convenience of your own house. All you need is just a phone and then a mannequin for you to just like sample your dresses. So once you make them, you put them on your mannequin, you snap them with good shots, and then you could upload on the internet, and then you sell online. People order and then you send them their dresses, and then you could decide to also get a place where you actually do this. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be explaining in that class. So let's just continue with our tutorial for today. Okay guys, so in order for me to get my full circle, I'm going to fold at an angle. So I'm going to cut out the back and the front separately to form my full circle. So what I'm going to do, so this is my fabric, I'm just going to fold it like this because I'm trying to get the length of the dress. So you just fold it at an angle like this, just like a triangle. And then the important thing, so I'm going to rotate my dress. I'm going to pull my fabric up and down so the camera captures it. So this is like where I want to actually start measuring from. So I'm just trying to get the full length. So the full length of the dress is actually 40 inches, and then I'll add 2 inches for it for the folding allowance. So this is like this is 42 inches. So this is where I'm going to start my dress from, and then this is okay. So I'm going to cut this out now. So I've gotten the top part. I'm just going to take it down like this, and then from this point I'm going to mark out 42 inches. So I just want you to see this is 42 here, and then you keep doing this. You just rotate your tape. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So you see half part of our circle. So you could see it looks so beautiful. So we're going to cut out a second one for the back. So that will now give us the complete and circle. And then before we continue, so I'm just going to cut out a second one. Okay, so I have my back piece and the front together, laid out together. So now before I continue, I'm going to do some little explanation. So when you are folding your fabric, the first part that you are going to put into consideration when folding before you get the length is the top part of your dress. That's this top part. So you can decide in two ways. If you are going to pleat this top part a little bit, that's when you are connecting it to the yoke, you can decide to do that, or you can decide not to pleat it. You can just decide to fix it that way. So you put the chest part into consideration, and then the other part that you are going to put into consideration is your bust line part. So it depends. Even though it is a circle dress, mine, like you see what we have on the picture, is, you could see it actually has a little shape on the top part. So you are going to put that part also into consideration when folding out your fabric. So I'm going to mark out. So mine, the top part I actually folded, that's the measurement that I actually use for the top part, is about 10 inches, and then I added 2 inches as allowance. So I have about 12 inches. So this is not up to the part, that's my, is more than my actual, is actually more than the bust measurement that I'm going to be using for this dress. Since it is a circle dress, it's always good to make it as not to be so fitted. So then for the down part, you can decide to use the flareness of, that's the way you folded your fabric. You can decide to make use of everything, or you can decide to reduce. So it depends on you how fitted you actually want the dress to be. Even though it is a circle dress, if it is too bogus, it will not have fitting on the person that is putting it on. So you still need to trim it, let it be moderate and be cute on the person that is putting it on. So that is why you see some people, when they make circle dresses, it will look like they just put on a canopy on them. So it is always good. And my circle dresses, I always like trimming them, and it gives it a kind of fitting. So that's just basically what I'm trying to teach you on this class. So let's just continue. So the bust measurement that I'm actually going to be using for this, I'm going to be making use of 40 inches. That's for the top part. So before we continue, we're going to mark out the shoulder. So we're going to mark out our complete dress. After marking, and then we'll cut out the top part for the yoke. So initially, I actually forgot, you should add 1 inch extra to your measurement, so it does not truncate when you cut out the yoke, so it will not truncate the fabric. That's the full length of your gown. So just put that into consideration. So for instance, this now you can make it 43 because of that extra inch, because we're going to cut out the yoke and then we'll replace it with our lace, or if you are going to make use of a tool. So the first thing we're going to mark out now is our shoulder measurement. So the shoulder that I'm going to use now is 14 inches. So when you divide 14 into 2, for beginners, you have 7 inches. This is 7 inches. I'm going to add 2 inches to it. Why I'm adding 2 inches? Because I'm going to use it for a yoke and then I'll cut. So you can decide to do 1 inch, but 2 inch will be okay. So I'll be able to fold the sleeve. So I added 2 inches on this point like this. So from this point now, I'm going to mark out my armhole line. So for the armhole, I'm going to make use of about 7 inches for my armhole. You could make use of 8 inches, and then I'm going to just connect like this. So you see what we have. The next thing now, we're going to impute the bust measurement, and we're going to be imputing it on this line. I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention the lines. So this first line that I have here is actually my bust line, which is from the top is 10 inches. That's the bust line. And then the next measurement is my under bust line. Even though these are measurements, I'm just trying to put them because of what I explained to you earlier, as in that's the cuteness of the dress. And then we have the waistline and then the hip line. So these are just the basic lines that I have here. So the bust line, I'm using 40 inches for the bust measurement. So when you divide 40 into 4, you have 10 inches because I don't want it tight. So that is why. So this is 40 inches, which is 10, and then on this part I'm going to add 2 inches. So from this point like this, you're just going to mark. Since we are doing freehand, you're just going to do this. You understand? So the next thing we're going to do, you are going to determine how wide you actually want your dress. If you are going to make use of your entire measurement, just like I explained to you. So for this, like I told you, the top part I folded at 12, and then on the hip part, hip line part, I folded at 20 inches, and then the down of my dress. So the down, I folded at 24 inches. That's because of, that's the width. So from this point like this, I can just decide to do a free dress like this. Since it is a circle dress, I'm just going to blend it into, just blend it like this. So the part where I really want the fitting is the chest part. So I already have it. So I'm just going to blend, just blend it in like this. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So you see what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is for the top part. So I'm going to cut out the yoke before I cut out the neck line. So I'll cut out the yoke. So for the yoke, you are going to determine how and deep you actually want your yoke to be. So for this, I'm going to be making use of 8 inches. So you could decide to measure to know how deep you actually want the yoke to be. So I'm going to cut out about 8 inches for my yoke. So this is just simple, and what I'm going to do, I'll just mark it like this. This is 8 inches, and then I'm going to cut it out. That is very simple way of, so you see what we have now. So I'm just going to keep this on the side. So I've cut it out now. The next thing now, we're going to cut out the neckline on the yoke. So you can decide to do that on your dress, but I will do that on the yoke. So here's what I'm going to do for the neckline. I'm just going to mark out 3 inches. Since it is a net, I don't want it too big, so I'll use 3 inches. So this is 3 inches. And then for the back neckline, the back neckline is going to be 1 inch. So this is for the back neckline. And then the next one is the front neckline. So I'm just placing my tape like this. And for the front neckline, I'm going to use about 5 inches. So I'll cut out the back one like this. And then I'll do my shoulder slope on this point like this. So you could use, for this, I'm going to use 1/2 inch to slope down the shoulder. And then I'll cut out the front piece. Okay, so this is the front yoke, and then this is the, just pick any piece of the dress, that has any part for the front. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take it to my machine. You are going to take the center point like this. I'm going to put a notch on the center like this, and then I'll put a notch on the center of my dress also, that's of the down piece. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take it to my machine, and then I'm going to fix it. So I'm just going to go and stitch it like this, just the way it is looking, just tiny pleats like this on the center piece part, and then I'll stitch. So I'll do the same thing to the back and the front. Okay, so I've finished and joining the yoke on both of them. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to join them on the shoulder line together. So I'm going to take the front and shoulder, and then the back like this. So I'll join like this, and then I will join this part also. Okay, so welcome back, guys. So you see I finished joining my dress on the shoulder part. The next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to join the sides. I'm just going to use about 1/4 inch to join the side. But before then, I'm going to be adding a pocket. I'm going to add pockets to my dress. And after adding the pocket, I'm going to use this applique to create something like just like a round design like this, just around the sleeve part. So I'm just going to pull it close, just around the sleeve, around the, I said sleeve, around the pocket part. So in fixing this pocket, all I'm going to do, so I cut out 4 pieces of this, you are just going to measure from the shoulder and part like this. I'm going to measure up to about 17 inches. So this is 17 inches. What I'm going to do from this 17 inches, the length that I use is actually 9 inches and then the width is 7.5 inches. I'm just going to take this like this. I'll place it on this part and then I'm going to pin it. So this is just like the simplest and easiest way of fixing an inner pocket like this. So this is the right side, and then I'm going to take the back piece also, and then on the same part, this is the right side, and then I'm still going to pin it down. Okay, so I'm going to stitch now and then stitch this part also, and then I'll put it in and then stitch the side. So I have a more elaborate video on this. I'm going to drop the link also. Okay guys, so you see I finished joining the side of my dress. So this is the pocket. So like I said, I'm going to use this to just design this part of the pocket part. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and finish up the armhole line. So I just had to open the side a little bit so I'll be able to tape it nicely. You could decide to use a bias to do that, but look at the neckline. I just folded it in neatly. So that's what I'm going to do to the sleeve also. I'm just going to hem the sleeve around, and then we'll come back and cut out the sleeve. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to cut out the sleeve for the dress. And in cutting out the sleeve, what I'm going to put into consideration is the round armhole measurement. So for the round armhole, I'm actually going to use 10 inches, but when you divide 10 into 2, you have 5. So you see my pattern paper, I folded it at an angle. I really do not want it to be very big. So from the picture, you could see that it is not a really big flare sleeve. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just create like a curve here. So this is just like a free curve. I'm going to use this to curve it out a little bit, just like a slight curve. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark out the length of the sleeve. So the length that I actually want to use, I actually want to make use of about 6 inches or 6.5 inches. So I'm going to make it about 8 inches. So when I fold, I'll still have allowance. I'm just going to mark like this. I'll mark the 8 inches round. So I'll cut it out now before we start measuring it out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to place this. So from this point, I'm going to measure the round armhole measurement. So you see I'm a little bit shouting because it is raining. So that is why you cannot hear me properly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this point. My round armhole is 10 inches. So when you divide 10 into 2, you have 5. So this is 5 inches. I'm going to mark 5 inches. I'm going to add as much as 1 inch allowance for stitching here. So this is where I'm going to place my sleeve. So I'm just going to take this like this. So it depends on where you actually want the coat shoulder to start from. So mine, I'm going to use about 5 inches. That's from this point to this 5 inches is going to be open. And then this is, remember the 6 inches I measure for the round armhole. I'm going to place this here like this. It is really simple. Place it like this, and then the next, and then you take the the remaining round part of your sleeve, and then we're just going to curve it out like this. It is really simple. Just curve it out. So once you get to this point, you are not going to cut out this point. Once you get your curve from this point, The next thing you are going to do, you are just going to, depends on how wide you actually want it to be. So from this point, since it is not a straight sleeve, I'm just going to create like a slant from this point, like this, a slant like this, just to give it like a little fullness. So this part, now I'm going to eliminate this part. So we're going to have this. So this is just like a very simple way of doing this sleeve. So I'll cut it out right now. So you see what we'll have at the end of the day. So you see it. And when we're fixing, here is how we're going to fix. So this part is going to be stitched. We're going to stitch this part, and then I'm going to take it like this, and then it's going to place like this. So from the 5 inches point, you're just going to start stitching. Remember this part, we added 1 inch, so you take half an inch to this side, and then half an inch for the other part, and then it's just going to sit like this. So this other part, if you know you don't want it to be as wide as this, you can decide to cut it out. So it depends on how wide you want it to be. But mine, the down part is going to be a little bit wide, so I'm just going to stitch this side close. If you don't want this slantness, you can just stitch it like this. That's what I mean now. So it's going to be like this. So this part is going to be closed, and then you are going to fix from this point to this point, and then this point is going to be open, and then this point, to make sure it is your round armhole measurement. So when stitching, that's how you are going to fix this thing. So I'm going to transfer this to my fabric now, and then cut and fix. The next thing I'm going to do for the down part of my dress, you can decide to make it a high-low. So mine, I'm going to trim it a little bit. So in trimming it, I'm just going to take the front piece like this. So this is the front part. I'm going to take it like this, and then this is the side. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to trim it just a little bit. So at the end of the day, so you see it is just a little. So if you want it more, you can decide to deepen it a little bit more. So I'm just going to straighten out this part. Okay, so I'm going to go and finish down the down part, and then I'll fix the sleeve just the way I explained to you. The next thing now, I'm going to finish up this down part. So this is the part. I'm just going to take it like this, and then I would stitch. I'll just give it a stitch like this, and then I'll fold the down part. And then, so for the applique, I'm just going to fix it around like this. So I'll start from the sleeve. I'm just going to take it through the yoke like this. I'll show that to you once I'm doing it. Okay guys, so you could see, so this is the final look of our dress. So this for the applique, so I just started fixing it from the back part. You just connect it. So mine is actually a little bit hard, so I just used a needle and thread. So you just fix it around to the other part. So that's just like basically what I did. So you see this part, so you see this is the pocket part. So this is all about our dress. So if you find this illustration helpful, please, I would appreciate if you will hit on the like button, subscribe if you have not done so, and then share this video with your friends and soulmates. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.